It's another episode here on Sports 101, and on this particular episode, we are looking at the Premier League. The Premier League is back. Football is back. So we're all excited. Our weekends will make more sense. The La Liga is back as well this weekend. Next week, some of the other leagues will resume, but on this episode, we are previewing the top games of the Premier League weekend starting tonight. It's Liverpool, defending their Premier League status as champions tonight against Bournemouth. It's Bournemouth, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So Liverpool are taking on Bournemouth tonight. It's a home game at Anfield, and we'll be looking into that game. There is Chelsea also, having their game on Saturday. Manchester United have their game on Sunday. Yes, Chelsea will be playing Sunday. City away to Wolves on Saturday. But Man United and Arsenal is going to be the pick of the weekend. That game is at Old Trafford in Manchester, and obviously a lot of people will be looking forward to seeing how the new signings get integrated into their various squads. The United fans had a glimpse of some of these guys against Fiorentina in pre-season, the other games, and Arsenal, yes, have some new signings in the team as well. So we'll be looking into some of these games, and it promises to be an exciting episode as we get into the discussion. So remember to like, comment, share. It's Sports 101 on all social media platforms, but most importantly, we would want to hear your opinion, or we want to see your opinion in the comment section. So let's know what you think. You agree with our analysis, you have your own observations, you have your own predictions as to how the games will pan out. Let's know on Sports 101 on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. There's YouTube as well. Let's know what you think, guys. Evans is here, Lucky is here. It's the Premier League weekend.
It's back.
Premier League is back.
They officially, the children tend to, they have handed over the remote to us.
And the wives have also handed over the remote to the guys.
No more Power Patrol or whatever, cartoon or whatever. It's time for football, But like you said, very exciting games across the English Premier League and the La Liga. The Italian Serie A will be kicking off next week, as well as the German Bundesliga. But in your intro, you made mention of Liverpool coming up against Bournemouth. On paper, it may want to look like a walkover, but I do not think that it would necessarily be a walkover. You've forgotten that, a lot of people have forgotten that last season, Bournemouth was one of those teams that proved its mettle against the top 6 sides. They came up against them and they competed very, very well, winning maximum points against the big sides. This season as well, Liverpool are opening their league title defense against Bournemouth. handled by Andoni Areola. He has coached this team very, very well. Our very own, Antoine Semenyo is in there. He's been earlier on, in the off-season, there was talk of him moving to Manchester United at some point. There was talk of him moving to Tottenham Hotspur, but he signed a long-term contract. He's staying with the team. I'm expecting this game to primarily, be a one-sided game. Liverpool controlling the game, dictating the pace, whilst, as usual, Bournemouth a bit very defensive, and they would want to sit back and hit Liverpool on the break. I think that the Bournemouth we saw last season, we will not see the same Bournemouth this season. Why am I saying so? They've lost a couple of key players. They've lost their captain in Christian Norgard. They've lost, Dean Hudson, who was very, very key in the defense of Bournemouth in whatever they did last season. So it's not going to be the same Bournemouth side that we saw last season. Yes, they've signed a couple of players, but it will take time. This is the Premier League for them to be able to be integrated into the team. So I would want to focus on how Liverpool will approach this game. We saw Liverpool against Crystal Palace. Early on in the game, they got an early goal through a KTK. Crystal Palace came back, pegged them. It was a very interesting game. One weakness we saw with the Liverpool team was their defense. That, for me, will be crucial to whatever Liverpool is hoping to do this season. If they are not able to, sort out the shape of the defense, we no matter how good, Virgil van Dijk is, he has his frailties, he has his weaknesses. And for me, I'm not the kind of player who fancies defenders who defend, spaces and zones. I like defenders who love to man mark, and that's not Virgil van Dijk's strength. Most of the time, he will love to defend spaces, try and show you where to, take the ball, where to direct the ball, to force you to a particular position, and he will defend those spaces. But he's not, the guy that tickles my fancy, but he gets the job done. But we saw those frailties against a team like Crystal Palace, where Crystal Palace are able to pick those pockets of space and run through them and hit Liverpool. One area too that will become very crucial in this game is their midfield. We saw the weaknesses there in the absence of Gravenberch. Whoever played in that midfield, obviously you could see the frailties. You need that player who would cover those spaces, and the goal that Ismail Sarr scored, it was as a result of there not being anybody to provide that cover and that shield for that defense. So there are obviously weaknesses in that Liverpool team, but the problem will be, would Bournemouth be able to exploit those weaknesses? I always say every team has its weaknesses, every team has its strength. Your ability to minimize your weaknesses and maximize your strength, for me, is what does the business for you. And Liverpool have lots of strength in their team, especially in the attack. They've brought in Ekitike. He seemed to have settled in very well with what we saw in the game against Crystal Palace. Good old Mohamed Salah will be in there. There's Florian Wirtz, who for me, very brilliant player. He loves to play in those small pockets of spaces behind the striker. There's McAllister in there. I don't know if Gravenberch will be fit in time for the game against Crystal Palace. Even if he's not fit, I'm sure they'll find that unable.
I think he had a suspension.
Yeah. So I don't know if he'll be there, but I'm sure they'll be able to find a way around it. Defense wise, they've signed this young defender from Italy, but I don't think that he's the guy they need. I'm hoping that they'll be able to bring in Maguire. I don't know what has happened to that deal, but clearly for me, the Liverpool team, either on paper and personal, they are much stronger than Bournemouth. But we know this is the English Premier League. Just when you think that, okay, this game is a given, that's when you'll be surprised. So we don't know what Bournemouth will present, especially after they losing a couple of their key men. As to Liverpool, we know how they will play and how they will come up against Bournemouth. But I'm tipping a Liverpool win and probably more than 2 goals in this game.
For a team that finished in the top 10 of the Premier League last season, they've lost a couple of their starters, as like you said. But again, with how their team sets up, how they play, very, very pacey football, counter-attacking football, Bournemouth is that team that Andoni Iraola has. He's set up the team in a way that they don't need to control games before they win games, and they still have the usual suspects of Ivan Nielsen and then Tyler Adams in that midfield. Yes.
But looking at their preseason, do you think that they will have that stats, that push they need to start the season in a very good way? Bournemouth's preseason
wasn't too good for Bournemouth. They didn't really have a lot of impressive results. So if we are looking at it from the preseason perspective, it doesn't look so good. Also, they lost home and away to Liverpool last season.
Yes.
I think it was 2-0, 3-0.
Yeah.
So it would be a very, very huge task for them to kickstart their Premier League campaign away at Anfield, in my opinion.
Well, my pick of the games will have to be Man City Wolves
against Wolves
on Saturday.
Yeah, at the moment.
Because two sides that had a very terrible season last year out. Both sides didn't really enjoy the season, especially getting to the end of the season. It was for Wolves that was able to actually escape relegation after winning 5 out of their 6 games in the latter part of the season. And so on Saturday, I expect that the game should be a very interesting one. I'm looking out for some key things here. Aït-Nouri is moved from Wolves to City. How he's going to, get into the
welcome
City,
back,
welcome back into the first game when you're playing against the team that you just left from. Also for Wolves, interestingly, they never won a preseason game. Throughout the preseason, they didn't win even one of their games. And that is not something that the fans were expecting to get during the preseason. So it tells you that it's going to be some sort of dicey for them at the start of the season. Man City's Pep Guardiola, we know him that he's a coach who do not take lightly defeats. He doesn't take defeats lightly. He doesn't really like to be in the spotlight for the negative reasons. And so going into this season, starting the season against Wolves, he will want to put his best foot forward, because look, this season is going to be very challenging. I see this season as a season where if we are lucky, we will see all 6 teams, big 6 teams, firing at on all cylinders, bar dangerous injuries or long-term injuries to some key players of these real teams. I expect that all the 6 teams will do well. So City will not want to compromise on grabbing some key points, especially at the early start of the season. So a game against Wolverhampton Wanderers will really be a very good way to let Guardiola start on a good note. But Wolves themselves have got the likes of Larson. Larson was very instrumental in their escape from relegation last season, and he did a very good work in there. How he's going to go about the attacking this time round is going to be very key to Wolves in this particular game. We know the defensive setup of City quite okay for Pep going into from the preseason all the way. Although he's had problems with Foden and others, the injuries that they've got, at least for defensive work, he's a bit stable now. Looking at the guys he's been able to recruit into the team, it tells you that Larson will have some tough time going into this game, trying to get some goals in there for Wolves. So my pick for Saturday would have to be the City versus Wolves game, because I'm expecting City to get a win. Maximum 2 goals in there for City, but for Wolverhampton Wanderers, it will do them a very good work if they're able to get at least a draw.
It's an interesting game, Sam, because I want to primarily focus on the City team. For me, this is a new look City team, and a team that has transitioned from having the best years in the Premier League in the last decade. They've won 6 Premier League titles under Pep Guardiola. That team for me has ended. That era has ended. Clearly, the last, the last member of that army in there was Kevin De Bruyne. He's gone. So this team is a new team. There's, Ryan Cherky coming in there, Tijani Reinders coming in there, Aït coming in there. A couple of, Savinho came in last season. Nico Gonzalez came in last season. You have Jeremy Doku came in last season. So it's primarily they are trying to rebuild. I want to see how City approach this game. They've not really started the Premier League very well. Almost every season they start very slowly, then they start picking up, and when they hit the ground running, they become very explosive. Where I agree with Evans is the fact that this season, if care is not taken, all the top 6 teams will come guns blazing. United will come guns blazing, Chelsea will come guns blazing, Arsenal will come, Liverpool will come. If you do not start well, eventually it might be your undoing. I want Pep Guardiola to approach this game as one of those games where it's the start of the season, it's a preseason. Technically it's a preseason game. Well, even if we lose, and the difficult thing is Wolves have been a stubborn customer for Manchester City over the years. And then again they're going on the road, so it's going to be a difficult game. But I think that if you look at what City have, I would be very much interested in seeing the kind of lineup City will put up, especially in defense. Manuel Akanji is back from injury. John Stones is back from injury. Nathan Ake is back from injury. Josko Vardiol this season is expected that he will play the left centre back position. Who he would partner with, either it's going to be Ruben Diaz or Koshanov. We do not know. John Stones as well. They are all there. So I want to see the partnership in the middle of the park as well. I want to see how he deploys, the 3-man midfield or the 2-man midfield, because we know that Rodri would be out up until somewhere late September. So whether it's going to be Tijani Reinders, it's going to be Nico Gonzalez, whoever he decides, I really want to see. As for attack, obviously, it's going to be the usual suspects in there. But I expect City to win.
Talk of Reinders and then the midfield in there. How do you expect, if he starts, what will be his deployment plan like?
I mean, in preseason, we saw Pep Guardiola use him in almost all the three positions,
yes,
as a 6, as an 8, even at some point as a 10. But if you have a player who can do all that, but you know his strength, I think his strength is more of an 8, playing as an advanced forward, controlling the middle of the park. I would want to see a player like, Nico Gonzalez. We didn't see much of him last season when he was brought in January. I would want to see a player like Nico Gonzalez partnering Tijani Reinders in the middle of the park. Then maybe you drop in a Bernardo Silva in there, because right now he is the captain of the side. So I do not think that he will start in from the bench. I think that Bernardo Silva will start. Then in attack, probably a Jeremy Doku, Erling Haaland, and Phil Foden, leading the attack. But again, I expect City to win. Their worst should be a draw, Sammy. I don't know which game is your
I don't know. With the City squad, I'm thinking with the absence of Rodri, it allows an extra player to have an opportunity. Could be O'Reilly, Nico Gonzalez.
Could even be Rico Lewis.
Yes.
Rico Lewis, yeah.
But if we are looking at that City team, Tijani Rangers, yes, has to be in that team. There's,
Nico Gonzalez.
Yes, Nico Gonzalez, yes. There's the Ballon d'Or winner,
Rodri.
Typically, he is supposed to be in that team. I don't think you can have all of them together with Bernardo Silva in the same midfield. Bernardo Silva probably will start out wide.
Could you have Bernardo Reinders and Nico Gonzalez?
That's if Rodri is not in the team.
He would not be in the team.
Yes, but again, even then, we can't have Bernardo, we can't have Tijani Rangers and Nico Gonzalez in that midfield at the same time, because there's Ryan Cherki.
Maybe he might not start.
Ryan Cherki obviously has been given that number 10 jersey for a reason.
That's true.
So he is that man that will be playing behind Erling Haaland.
Okay. But is City's number 10 really the 10 they pride? Because this was a jersey won by a player like Jack Grealish.
Yes, but Jack Grealish came in for big money with a lot of potential and expectation.
And City's 10 has also Aguero?
Yes, Aguero. So when you see a player like Cherki come into the City team, we know the position he plays in. I think he will play through the middle in that number 10 role. We might have Bernardo Silva playing from the right-hand side, where he's played a lot for City. There's Oscar Bob, who now is
he's recovering from injury. I think he's from injury. Now,
so he and Bernardo Silva, yes, can battle it out for that position. But in the middle, there has to be Rangers, there's Nico Gonzalez, there's O'Reilly, as I mentioned.
Exactly.
There's John Stones.
There's even John Stones who can play. But I think
Rodri comes back, Rodri is also there. So on the other side, there's Savinho. Yes, is still in the conversation, but he might just move before.
But City have said that he's not. They are not looking to sell him
to Spurs.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it all depends on how the market goes. Then we can talk about the left-hand side where now Grealish is out of the picture. So yes, Jeremy Doku would probably be getting a lot of game time.
That's true.
There's Phil Foden, who can play from the right through the middle and even from the left. And so I think the challenge that City probably would have might just be who deputizes for Erling Haaland. And yes, City have a lot of bright youngsters, but going into this particular fixture, I think they might get the win. I'm expecting City to win the game, but Wolves is one team that has always made it difficult for Manchester City. City, yes, won home and away last season, but close margins, 2-1, 1-0. They've always had something.
They become like an Achilles heel for Manchester City over the years.
Playing at home, the first game of the season with all the excitement and all the buzz. You never know. It's the Premier League, but yes, typically we would expect that City should get 3 maximum points from that game.
So, the Club World Cup champions. they call themselves the world champions. I think you can't disagree with that. The world champions will be also walking onto the pitch against Crystal Palace. Evans.
But I think
I'm talking about Chelsea. I mean they are the world champions.
Yeah. Well, they are the world champions. So, I mean, a statement we'll have to be making for the next 4 years if we want our peace.
Yeah.
So we will definitely be having to say that. But Chelsea Crystal Palace should be a very
good game.
Should be a very good game. An opportunity for both clubs to actually go ahead and make a statement for the season. I mean, the first statement of the season is very, very critical for these two clubs. Crystal Palace coming off the drop that they've won the Community Shield, coming from the drop that they won the FA Cup, coming from the drop that they're not going to compete in the Europa because of ownership issues. Yes, so that is definitely going to be a problem. So champions of England, I mean, Premier League and FA Cup winners, definitely for Community Shield, you become the boss. For champions of champions, you are the winner. So that's Crystal Palace. And then the champions of the world, that is Chelsea meeting up there. I think it's a game where both managers will come into this particular fixture looking to stamp the authority on the preseason that they had. Chelsea had a very fantastic preseason by virtue of winning the trophy. For Crystal Palace, their preseason was not going so well. I mean, until they came back from that Liverpool debacle and then won the title from Liverpool in the Community Shield. So it's been not so quiet for Crystal Palace. It's just been recently where they've had Mark Gahey coming into the picture, whether he will leave to Liverpool or not, all those issues coming up. And also for Eze, whether he will be leaving to Arsenal or not. It's not been so quiet for them on the purchase. It's been quiet for them on the purchase front, but not quiet on them for receiving offers for their players. For Chelsea, we've seen that they've been very vibrant in the market, signing players left, right, center. So far, not really allowing some players to leave, and so they've got a lot of backroom. I mean, a lot of people in the dressing room who can easily feature for them. I think it's going to be a very interesting game. Chelsea, I suspect, or I'm tipping them to win. Just as we said earlier, top 6 club, you might not want to lose ground, especially on the first few games. So I expect, I'm tipping Chelsea to win this game against Crystal Palace. Tactical play-wise, Maresca must come to the table, must really show why, and he must really show why he's being heralded as one of the best coaches. For winning the trophy at the Club World Cup. He should tell us, he should be able to replicate the good things he did during the Club World Cup up against Paris Saint-Germain, even in the final. You get it. So not an easy task for either teams, but Chelsea should have a comfortable win at the end of the day.
I think Chelsea might have a shock this weekend.
You think Crystal Palace will beat Chelsea?
Chelsea might just drop points. That's what I think. Maybe they won't lose, but they might drop points. I don't know. I still have that feeling that Chelsea can win the league. But against this Palace side, and the first game of the season,
very unpredictable Palace,
Chelsea will need to hit the ground running. And this Palace side is a very good side.
Yeah,
they are that good, and it's a derby game. You have some quality players that Crystal Palace have been able to keep.
Yes.
They've been able to keep Mateta. They've been able to keep Eberechi Eze. They've been able to keep Magehi. Yes, the transfer window hasn't ended, but these are quality players. There's Ismail Assar as well in the team. And so these are guys that are core members of this Palace team. And they are equally solid players. And so I think that going to Stamford Bridge, first game of the season, on the back of winning the Community Shield and all of that, the confidence is high. Chelsea know that they need to hit the ground running. We might have one or two nerves there. Palace might just take the lead, or they might get an equalizer. Chelsea take the lead. It's that game that I see as a very open game. If you watched Palace against Liverpool, it tells you that this is a side that is not afraid.
No, they're not afraid to attack. They're not afraid to take on.
Going to Stamford Bridge, I can see the game going in a direction where, yes, Palace are not going to sit back and allow Chelsea launch waves of attack at them. They are very good in the transition, on the counter attack. They have PC players like Eze and Sa and Mateta up top. These guys can punish you if you give them that space. And so I am, on paper, yes, we expect that Chelsea should get 3 maximum points, but of all the fixtures that we've previewed, I think this is the closest one where I think that the favorites might just drop points. And the game is on Sunday. On
Yes, on
Sunday,
Sunday.
we might just get a draw between Chelsea and Palace. In my opinion.
I agree perfectly with you, Sammy. But I think that one key element here that a lot of people are losing sight of is the two managers at the helm of affairs, Oliver Glasner and Enzo Maresca, and they are going to be very crucial to whatever these two teams do on the day. We know how good Oliver Glasner has been for Crystal Palace, and just like Ivan said, he's led them to the FA Cup, he's led them to the Community Shield, albeit against a very, very good Liverpool side. But like you said, they are not afraid to attack. They are not afraid to take on teams. Naturally or usually, when these teams come up against the traditional big side, you see them call into themselves, be very defensive, try to only play on the break and try to catch these guys on the counter. But there's skill in them, there's pace in them. Mateta, very, very strong. He knows how to hold up play very, very well. He'll be a tough customer for them.
Yeah, as Stellet's Park last season, it was 1-1.
It was 1-1.
Stamford Bridge,
it was 1-1. So they are not the pushovers in the Premier League. They are not scared. They don't cower at some of these, at the sight of some of these big boys. So it's going to be a very difficult game. But I think that, you see, if Chelsea want to make a statement in this league, somebody may say it's too early, but if they want to make a statement that, guys, our World Club Championship win wasn't just a fluke, this game should be that game they should make a statement of. They should beat Crystal Palace and beat them well. Let the world know that, listen, we are here to challenge for the league title. It's not just another season where we'll just be in the conversation. But I agree with you guys, it's going to be a tough game, but I think that Chelsea will nick it, a very narrow win. I mean, going for either a 2-1 win for Chelsea or a 3-2 win for Chelsea. Right. But a big game.
Yeah, before we come to the big game, I want to take your views on this. Aston Villa Newcastle. On the low, that particular game is a small.
It's supposed to be a big game.
Yes, it's a small compound fight.
Yeah.
Small because it was Newcastle that denied Aston Villa a place in the Champions League by a goal. Goal difference.
Yeah.
And due to that, Aston Villa are not able to. They are not really active in the market because of that.
Yeah.
Prestige that they lost a little. That let me say the Champions League they were not able to qualify for. And again, Newcastle having had issues in the transfer
with Isak and all of that.
There's that Isak transfer. There's that Sesko disappointment. The other player.
They've not really been lucky in the transfer market.
They brought in Elanga.
Yeah, they do.
They brought in Elanga, and I think Elanga. One of the reasons why Elanga went there was because he said Isak was there, so two Swedish boys will be able to play all those issues in there. But looking at how Newcastle has gone in the preseason and with their transfer in focus, and how Aston Villa are poised quietly preparing for the league, you think it will be revenge for Aston Villa against Newcastle this time around? And my other question will have to be, will Newcastle's manager, that is Eddie Howe, will he be able to steer affairs on the field so that off-field issues will not affect him?
It will be tough. Why do I say so? Because let me start off from there. Because I think that this team they've gotten used to playing with Isak. They've gotten used to having him be the man who leads the team and getting him, putting the goals that Newcastle have been putting in. Had a brilliant season last season. Was second to Mo Salah in terms of the Premier League Golden Boot race. So they've gotten used to him. They're off the field issues. It will be difficult because how does Eddie Howe maneuver his way around? There was a reason why they were out there coming for a striker. There was a reason why they wanted a Ketike, because they knew that Isak is not willing to play for the team. They knew that let's go in for Sesko. It didn't work out. They've had a very terrible transfer window, but as they still do have a crop of pretty good players in there. There's Anthony Gordon still there. They've added Elanga in there. They still do have some good Harvey Barnes in the team. Livermento in that solid low left back. I wish he had gone to City, but right back. Sorry, he's still in there. For Villa, I think that they are one of the stable team in the Premier League. Yeah. They didn't lose so much. They have a manager who's done it all with them, seen it all with them last season in the Champions League. They are very experienced, goalkeeper goalkeeper in Emiliano Martinez. Sami would have wished that he probably might have landed at Manchester United. So Villa has a stable team, and I think that playing at home they will be difficult customers for Newcastle.
But Villa have lost some
key,
quality
yeah.
because Rashford was there on loan. He's no longer there. There was a
Jean Duran as well.
John Duran left
For
on,
Fenerbahce.
and then there's Marco
Asensio.
Yeah.
So they haven't replaced these
Those
guys,
two.
and so
Those players were on loan.
Yeah.
yes, this is some firepower that Villa are losing, and because we saw what Asensio brought to Aston Villa, we saw what Rashford brought into that Aston Villa team, and so for Asensio, we haven't really heard what exactly the dynamics are. Maybe he might still be in the team, but as it stands now, he's not really been. We've not. I haven't really seen him in the Aston Villa preseason.
I've not seen much of even Villa's preseason.
I think that Villa, yes, they were playing at home, but on paper, you have to give Newcastle United that edge over.
Even with all their issues.
Even with all the issues that Newcastle have, I think Newcastle have a solid team. They are very, very good. Behind the scenes, yes, there might be issues there. What might work for Villa is that under the manager Unai Emery, they have a very good home record. It's something that they've built over time. It's difficult for them to lose at home, and so maybe that might play a role in them picking up some points against Newcastle United. But Newcastle United themselves would also want to prove a point. I think apart from the Isak issue and some of those transfer issues going on behind the scenes, I think Newcastle United have a very solid team. They have a very, very good team, and they can actually go to Villa Park and get 3 maximum points.
The big game this weekend across Europe will be Manchester United taking on Arsenal. There's lots of subplots in this particular fixture. The battle of the strikers. Victor Gyökeres coming up against Benjamin Sesko. Whether Benjamin Sesko will start with the team, we do not know. The subplot of Amorim as well, taking charge of United in his full season. He's had time to do a proper preseason with this team. There's also the subplot of now Arteta has a striker. Can he, light up the league in his first game? Lots of subplots in the game. But Sammy, let's get into this game in details. Let's start with the dynamics of this game. How do you expect United and Arsenal to approach this game?
I think both teams, yes, would want to prove a point. When I say prove a point, they would want to show that they're actually ready for the season. I don't think either team would have wanted this fixture as their opening fixture.
Yeah, it's too early.
But
it's too early.
It is what it is. And United have not really started the league very well in recent times. I think in the past couple of seasons, United have lost games in the first game or in the second game of the season. We saw what happened in Ten Hag's first season. Even last season, United struggled at the beginning. And so they would want to hit the ground running. I think United would want to start the season very well.
That's true.
Arsenal, on the other hand, we know their quality, but they haven't really had a very good preseason. They've not been, I think they've been underwhelming, but that's why it's a preseason. When the league season starts, I'm sure we'll get to see the best of Arsenal. I'm looking forward to seeing how Arteta sets up his team. Yes, we know Arsenal play 4-3-3 system, so we can expect to see Zubimendi, Odegaard, and there's Declan Rice. Yes, there's also Norgard in there, but Zubimendi, Odegaard, and Rice are likely to start. Gyökeres, yes, we expect that he will lead the lines. There's Bukayo Saka, there's Martinelli as well, there's Madueke. These guys are there. I think Arsenal have they are all set. There's Timber, there's Gabriel.
And they do not really have a lot of injuries as well.
They don't have a lot of injuries.
Kelly is there.
Yes, there's Calafiori as well. And then Gabriel's partner, Saliba is there. There's David Raya. So
they have Mosquera, that's Spanish defender.
They have a solid. I think if you look at United at the moment, I don't think that the 11 that might start tomorrow would necessarily be Man United's long-term 11 for the rest of the season. So that we can say Cesco might not start tomorrow. Yes, he trained at Leipzig before coming. He hasn't really had any minutes for United. He might come off the bench. We never know. The manager might throw him in because he's had a full week of training. That can happen. United still have some issues at the back with injuries. We know that Aiden Heaven has a knock. We know Lisandro Martinez is still recovering. We know that Mazraoui has not trained. He hasn't really been active in the preseason. Yes, so we might not necessarily see that lineup that United will go throughout the season. In midfield, yes, might see Casemiro and Fernandes, but will that be United's main midfield going into the season? In Mbeumo, Cunha, yes, we know that these guys are always going to play behind the main striker, but tomorrow, who is going to play? Sunday, who will play up top for Man United? But if you look at Arsenal, I think Arsenal can put out a first 11 on Sunday that would be their 11 for the season. Yes, changes can come here and there, but Arsenal have it all sorted out, right from goalkeeper to striker. So yes, they are that team that United might not be ready to play as it stands now as their opening game, but you never write off Man United, especially as it's the first game of the season with a new a coach having his first full season. The excitement about playing at Old Trafford being the first game of the season. These kind of games are the games that gives you all the excitement that you want to see. But tactically and in terms of balance, I think that Arsenal have that balance in the team as compared to what United have. United still need one or two fixes here and there. As I said, the striker that has come in, we don't know if he might be part of the team. In midfield, we don't know if they are bringing another additional midfielder. We don't know about the goalkeeper. Even the first team goalkeeper, Onana, he's out for that game, so we might see by injury coming. So United are not really ready in terms of the balance of the team, in terms of them having the full complement of their squad to go all out for the season. Maybe at the end of August, when the transfer window is done, then we might see that. So Arsenal, yes, might be favorites on paper, but this is Arsenal against United. It's one of those games that you cannot necessarily.
You do need to predict.
We can't. It's difficult to predict. If I have to predict, I will go for goals. I think we might see a million over 1.5 or over 2.5 there, but it will be difficult. I find it difficult seeing United losing this game at Old Trafford, the first game of the season against Arsenal. Maybe against a Brentford, you might see a surprise, but against Arsenal, it'll be difficult. But Arsenal themselves will also want to prove a point. I don't think they are scared of Man United. They will go to Old Trafford and also want to go there and win, because they know that if they don't win the league this season, then everybody sees them as a failure. They've come close time and time again, so they have to go guns blazing right from the first game of the season. So I don't think Arsenal will go there and decide that they want to sit back because they are playing away from home. So it's a very difficult game to call. I think it will be a very open game. If any team might just sit back and play on the counter attack, then it might be Man United that might play in that manner, and then probably from the hour mark or in the second half, you might see United taking the game to Arsenal, trying to get something at the end of the game, maybe get a goal or two in there and get 3 maximum points. So it's one difficult game to call, but if there's any favorite as it stands now from what we have seen last season, the teams on paper, then you can say that Arsenal are favorites. But from what we've seen in preseason, Arsenal, I think that United maybe have some encouragement from their preseason and Arsenal's preseason and the performances that we've seen from both sides. So as a neutral, it will be a very, 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 very interesting game to watch. But as a Man United fan, I'm hoping United get all 3 points.
Evans,
I still hold the notion that United are not ready for the season.
Is it United are not ready?
Yes, Man United
why is United not ready? They've acquired a striker.
Yeah, they've acquired. The striker was not going to.
They fix on paper. They fix the lack of goals last season. Last season they were on negative goal difference. Well, they fixed it with Cunha, Mbeumo, and Cesco.
Yeah,
on paper they fixed it. But I said, why are they not ready?
It's a completely different three fronts for United now from last season. Completely different. they fixed one part of the problems they've had.
Okay.
For now. So you have the likes of Zegzi, and then if Hosland should stay, being the backups to the front three that you want them to that are currently in the team. United are still not ready because there's still some problems to be solved in there. There's problems in the midfield to be solved. You still do not know the reliability of Kobe Menu per how Amorim will want to deploy him. Okay, that is one key reason, or that's one main problem that United have to actually work on. Because is it Casemiro who's going to play that role? Is it Kobe Menu who's going to sit in front of the defense? Who's going to be pushing the ball up front for you? Okay, who's going to partner Cunha as well as Bruno Fernandes in the middle, in the circle when things get tough? These are issues you are going to look at. Now they are trying to bring in a Baleba who might just go ahead and then do that work for United. So Man United is not really ready for the season for me. They've had problems goalkeeping wise. Onana is not so fit to start tomorrow. I'm sorry, on Sunday, per what we are hearing. It means that Binder will have to be in there. He's not so much of a goalkeeper that you want to pin all your hopes on a day when you are facing Saka, Gyökeres, Martinelli, and then Trossard is out, so to a large extent, Odegaard. You get it. So that is the threat that United will be facing. And just like Sammy said, these two teams are not given in any other day. You not expect them to pick each other for the first fixture of the season. I mean, it's something that the two of them will not want to do. But here it is. And then going into the game, I think Arsenal have an upper hand over United. The only good thing that will help United in this game will have to be for the culture. They will do everything. They have to do everything they can to get a draw, at least a draw in this game. Because if Arsenal should beat them at Old Trafford, first game of the season against Arsenal, one of your rivals in the EPL, and you are losing, it takes the fans back to 5 months ago, 6 months ago, where they were not so sure of the project that was being run at United. You get it? And so Man United they have a lot of work to do before Sunday. Amorim has a lot of work to do psyching the boys up. He's going to get help from Bruno Fernandes, no two ways about that. Psyching the boys up, making sure that they turn up at Old Trafford and play and win that game. But it's not going to be easy because Arsenal will definitely come all guns blazing. Arsenal want to prove they are better than you for the culture. They want to prove that this season is theirs, and they want to start on the right foot. Remember what we said earlier on? All 6 clubs must make sure that they get 18 out of 6 for the first 6 fixtures. 18 out of 6. And United has the most difficult 6 fixtures, the first 8 fixtures, than all the other 6 clubs there. You get it? So it means that for United, they really need a lot of work to be done in this particular game. I'm tipping the best to be a draw for Manchester United at Old Trafford.
So who are you picking in the opening fixtures for the Premier League? And it's Manchester United coming up against Arsenal, the biggest game over the weekend across all the major leagues in Europe. The Italian Serie A, the German Bundesliga will kickstart next week, but also the La Liga will be starting this weekend. Barcelona will be away to Mallorca. Atletico Madrid will be taking on Espanyol. Real Madrid will take on Osasuna on Tuesday. So it's a big weekend of football. So we want to know in the comment section who is winning this game, or the game between Manchester United and Arsenal. Also, the other games, Chelsea will be taking on Crystal Palace, Wolves will be taking on Manchester City, Newcastle will take on Aston Villa, as well as Liverpool take on Bournemouth. This is Sports 101, our preview of the English Premier League and the games that are coming up in the Spanish La Liga. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you've not subscribed yet. This is Sports 101.